Hey guys, it's Vera Wild, and yes, I'm still around. I know I said I needed a break, and I did, so I took a bit of time for myself. I am going to try and get videos up more regularly. It's not going to be as often as it used to be, so don't take this video as meaning that suddenly I'm going to have a new video up every week. That's probably not going to happen, but obviously, I'm still here, and I have some more stuff to talk about. Now, I've talked about hair removal, mainly talking about legs before, and primarily focusing on shaving, which has been the main thing that I've done throughout my life as a cross-dresser. Now, I've gotten a professional wax, which I also talked about. Now, way back when I did my first video on legs, I did talk about some of the alternate things out there, and I sort of brought up the creams and the chemicals that are used to remove hair. It wasn't something that I was prepared to recommend at that point. My only experience way back then was Nair, which I didn't get great results out of. I really didn't like the smell of, and I just wasn't very impressed. Now, since then, more recently, I have tried Veet. And I'm prepared to recommend it. And no, it's not an endorsement. They're not paying me for this. This is completely based off experience. I was really happy with the results of this. Now, I'm not suddenly going to say that the chemical approach in general is something I'm going to recommend, but I am going to recommend Veet specifically. And it basically works like a cream, and I got it like this, and it comes with this. And it also comes with, I can get it here, a sort of odd-shaped little plastic thing, which is this, which looks a little strange, but basically this will take the place of the razor. So you would apply the cream, you leave it in place. This does not smell nearly as strong as Nair did way back when I tried it. Now again, years ago, maybe Nair has solved their the sort of strength of the smell issue, but this did not smell nearly as strongly. So you put this on wherever you're taking the hair off of, and then you leave it for a while. Now, how long you have to leave it is going to vary. For dressers, you'll probably have to leave it a little longer than a genetic woman would. That said, it does urge against leaving it on for any more than 10 minutes. And though I've had nothing but good experiences since I've started trying this, I have talked to people who have accidentally left it on too long and gotten some nasty reactions as a result. So you do want to be sure you're timing it. Now, it does say no longer than 10 minutes. So don't leave it on for 10 minutes and then start taking it off. I leave it on about 7 to 8 and then I start taking it off of wherever I've applied it. And I don't apply it like entire both legs at one go. I'll generally do, sort of knee down and wait the 7 minutes, remove that, and then move on to maybe the upper thigh, the other leg, and so on. And then you're just scraping with this. You're scraping off the cream, much like if you had shaving cream and was running along a razor. And it works so well because it holds and you can see what you've done, and you keep scraping till the cream's off and the hair comes right off with it. And I'm prepared to recommend it over shaving because I found it to be just as easy. There's obviously no risk of you cutting yourself. There is the slight risk of a reaction with your skin. So if you have sensitive skin, sort of maybe try a little patch first to be sure you don't have an adverse reaction. The results, while nowhere near as long lasting as a wax, they do last longer than shaving. When I shave my legs, I tend to feel noticeable stubble the next day. This will get me 2 or 3 days, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's double. So that's not nothing there. Now, just a couple of quick notes. The one sort of drawback to this specific version of Veet, which is the main one I've been using, is that one can doesn't do both my legs entirely because I have to do above the knee and the thigh, which most women wouldn't have to do. So I have to end up going through about 1.5 cans to do all of that. Now, I have gotten, to try and counter that, this, which is a larger container, and I don't expect the results or the experience of using this to be noticeably different than the can I've already used. If it is, I'll talk about it separately, but I'm expecting the same results out of this when I do get around to trying it. I guess the one other thing that is worth talking about is it's the use of this on areas other than your legs. I have tried it on a few somewhat more personal areas than my legs, and gotten decent results. I've been a little bit trepidatious because the people who I've heard from who had nasty reactions had it in those more sensitive areas. So I was a bit more cautious, you know, not quite waiting as long, but again, no real adverse reaction, and the results I was quite happy with. I will say that when the hair comes back in, it's not a case that it comes in finer or anything like that, but when I shave, I find all the hair comes back at once. It's like en masse, it all comes back. This, it feels a little bit more staggered. It feels more like waxing in that way, in that it feels like some hairs start coming back and then more hairs start coming back, and it lessens the irritation that I feel when the hair is regrowing, because when it all sort of comes back at once, like with the shaving, my legs tend to itch, I get shaving bumps. I'm not gonna say that that's been non-existent with the Veet, but it has been less. So that's been my experience with this, and I wanted to share that with you guys, and I would encourage you to try it. Again, observe all the cautions that are on there and make sure you don't leave it on too long, but I have been pleasantly surprised with that, and I think it's gonna become my new go-to, provided I can afford it. While it's certainly nowhere near expensive as getting a professional wax, you know, can and a half to do both legs, you know, every 4 or 5 days, that does add up after a while. But this is definitely now my new preference. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope you found that useful. And until next time.